Here is the NFL team winning every game of the 2025 playoffs, revealing this year's Super Bowl champions, and how your picks can win one of these cash prizes if you can beat my predictions at the end of the video. I will be giving you the key matchups, injuries, storylines, bold predictions, and even the final score for every game of the entire playoffs. Remember, every team is now playing a one-game season. This is not the NBA. This is not the MLB. You lose, you're done. And while we're not going to completely forget about what happened in the regular season, the key matchups in each individual game will determine this year's Super Bowl winner. Nothing that's happened before. Starting with the Denver Broncos heading to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills. And I commend the Denver Broncos for what they've done this season. They've done a lot better than I expected. While I still have my personal doubts about Bo Nix's longevity in the league and if this is still going to work out with Denver, I think it's undebatable that he played very good as a rookie and is firmly going to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. The Denver defense is not too shabby itself, probably edge of top 5, top 7, top 10 level. And some guys have broken out on that pass rush like Nick Bonito and Cooper to go with an already great secondary as everyone knew Denver's had. With all that great stuff being said, they're running into a different animal here in Buffalo. This is not the situation you want to be in as a rookie quarterback playing in your first playoff game. In probably the at least freezing temperatures, but maybe snow, going against a quarterback in Josh Allen that's been unstoppable this season. I do think Denver shows up to this game and gives the Bills a better challenge than we even think. But in the third and fourth quarter, James Cook, Josh Allen, they pour it on, the floodgates open. The weakness in this Denver rush defense is exposed, and the Bills win 31-20 in advance. Before I go on to the Vikings and Rams game, one quick reminder to comment your prediction as to who's going to win the Super Bowl. I want to know what you think. Or, like I said, watch till the end of the video. I'll let you know how you can submit your picks to win some of these cash prizes. This Rams-Vikings game is going to be a ton of fun because it seems like we got two mirror teams playing against each other. You got a wide receiver duo of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua versus a wide receiver duo of Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. We got the big tight ends in Higbeast and Hawkinson, Kyron Williams, Aaron Jones, weapons galore on both offenses. And then both of these defenses aren't necessarily loaded with superstars that everyone's going to recognize, but they're opportunistic and they take some risks that have been paying off in a lot of situations this year. Where I really think the difference is going to be made in this game is what kind of got exposed with Minnesota this last week. And something I've been worried about with the Vikings all season, to be honest. When Kevin O'Connell isn't able to scheme things wide open and make things really easy on Sam Darnold with Addison, with Jefferson, with Hawkinson, and a defense is able to buckle down, able to get the pass rush in Sam Darnold's face, we start to see a little bit of that old school Sam Darnold. We don't see the MVP level Sam Darnold we've seen in 2024, like the MVP Kirk Cousins we saw with this group in 2023. I worried that eventually a defense is going to have a good enough game plan to take away these wide receivers or at least slow them down, and Sam Darnold was going to get exposed, and the Lions did that with the NFC North and the number 1 seed on the line last week. And you look to the other side, a guy that's not going to panic or be inconsistent at all in Matthew Stafford with all the experience in the world in these situations. A whole Super Bowl run of experience with the head coach he's still paired with. Sean McVay is going to have a great game plan to counteract that very high-risk, high-reward Minnesota Vikings blitz defense. And I think the Los Angeles Rams jump out to a lead early and hold off a Minnesota Vikings miraculous comeback attempt and win 30-28. Next, we got a division rivalry game with the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road to Baltimore to play the Baltimore Ravens. And man, this is a tough game for both sides. On one side, it looks like the Ravens could be down Zay Flowers, a key member of their passing attack. Especially when you take into account on the other side, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a rush defense and a front seven that can give Derrick Henry some fits, that can get after the passer with 4 pass rushers and squeeze things down when we get into the red zone and Lamar has to make some quick decisions. I think Pittsburgh hangs in the game in the first half defensively. And everyone's going into halftime thinking, oh my gosh, the Ravens are going to do it again. Just for Lamar to hang in there and in the second half start to extend things with his legs, open up the passing game, even taking off a little bit himself. That's going to be the key difference maker in this game. And then the other difference maker is going to be the Baltimore defense getting that one big play on Russell Wilson or Najee Harris or George Pickens. I still think that the Steelers team is dealing with some of the woes it did last year penalty-wise. And I think Baltimore can create a key turnover at a key moment to win this game. 24-14. Taking me to Philadelphia, where the Green Bay Packers are going to be going to Philly as the 7th seed to take on the 2-seeded Eagles. And like in this Los Angeles versus Vikings game, we got another mirror team matchup. Again, like edge of top 10 defenses. Very good defenses going at it. Two offenses that went to the next level when they added a free agent running back. With quarterbacks who were drafted in the same draft class, trying to almost prove their worth to the entire NFL community. Packers QB's a little bit banged up, dealing with an elbow. Jalen Hurts is banged up. He actually missed the last couple of games of the season. But I really think what I've seen out of the Eagles secondary throughout the season, there's been a few hiccups here late down the stretch, but for the most part, they have improved and improved and improved and improved. And I just think that Saquon is a different level of unstoppable beast than Josh Jacobs on the ground and as a receiver. And I actually think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good showing. I think he's going to come out and look healthier than he has basically since week 1. He had a concussion, but his body's been healing while his brain heals as well. The Eagles put a statement on the NFC here in round 1 against the Pack. Shut them down, winning 34-13. Now we're going to get to my Los Angeles Chargers on the road against the Houston Texans. But first, if you never met me before, hi, I'm NFLMike, and if you made it this far into the video, I assume you're an NFL fan. Well, I'm an NFL content creator that creates NFL content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and twice on Sundays. Please subscribe to the channel. I know you will like it. We are on our road to 15,000 subscribers, and you are the only one that can help me get one step closer. Also, the way you can support my channel for completely free is by liking the video. So that way YouTube knows that NFL fans like to hear me yap, sends these videos out to more NFL fans like me and you. We can grow this community here on the channel. All right, my Chargers on the road in Houston against Texans. Like I said, how key was it for the Chargers to win the 5 seed and win this trip to Houston? Because if they didn't do this, they were going to have to go through Baltimore, then KC, and then likely Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. And man, this is a bad matchup for the Houston Texans. Because the Houston Texans are beat up. They're cooling off. While the Los Angeles Chargers, we're doing the exact opposite. J.K. Dobbins has gotten healthy. Mack and Bosa have made it through the year and have gotten to the end, both healthy. The O-line is good to go and hitting its stride at the right time in both pass protection and in run blocking. QJ is catching footballs. Herbert's playing some of the best football in his career, and the key to the Chargers' playoff hopes, especially in this first game, the Chargers statistically have the #1 defense this year. And they're going to get after C.J. Stroud, who really only has one super trustworthy weapon available to go to. I know you can say John Mechie. I know you can say Dalton Schultz. The Chargers have done a very good job in coverage this year, y'all. I think even Texans fans will tell you that their backs are against the wall a little bit. The Chargers seem like a runaway train right now, and I am so excited to watch it as a Chargers fan. This runaway train is going off the tracks straight towards Kansas City, defeating Houston and making a statement in the AFC 30-10. Bringing me to the last game of the very hard-to-predict first round. The Washington Commanders going on the road to Tampa to play Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And like the Denver Broncos, huge shout-out to the Washington Commanders for being way ahead of schedule. Dan Quinn has done an amazing job with this defense, which was honestly one of the worst a year ago. And they hit on their quarterback, and Cliff Kingsbury has built an offense around him that complements him to his fullest. Jaden Daniels has the confidence to go out there and deliver and deal and have a blast doing it, which is why this team is going into this game with absolutely nothing to lose. I think there's a few key matchups that are going to determine the winner. Is Dan Quinn going to get Baker Mayfield to be able to make some mistakes, some Baker Mayfield mistakes? Or are the Bucs going to focus on running this football? We want Bucky all the way down the field and cap it off with Mike Evans touchdowns. The Buccaneers have more experience. The Buccaneers have better man-to-man matchups. Speaking of Mike Evans, he's taking on his old friend Marshawn Lattimore once again. I always worry about a rookie on the road in his first playoff game, but not this rookie. He seems like the special one to be cool, calm, and collective enough to go in there and get the upset. I think Daniels protects the ball, and late in the game, Terry McLaurin or Zach Ertz are calling game with no time left on the clock. And the Commanders win by a point, 24-23. Moving on to round 2, and in the last round, we had the Rams and Eagles both winning, setting up a rematch here of a game I was at. Saquon Barkley went for 300 yards, and that's the next level of unstoppable that I'm talking about. And I was there to witness it. I'll be rooting for LA to win this game. They are my hometown team, and I want to see an LA versus LA Super Bowl sometime in my lifetime. But even if the Rams hold Saquon to half the production he did last time, they're still going to lose the game. I do think the Rams put up a better fight, but the game goes very similar to the first one, and the Eagles defeat LA 41-28, bringing me to another rematch. Earlier in the year, we saw the Ravens defeat the Buffalo Bills, And now we'll see the Baltimore Ravens go to Buffalo to play the Bills in the second round of the playoffs. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get this matchup, the MVP candidate versus MVP candidate. And both these teams probably view themselves as the team in the AFC to try and take down the Chiefs finally. But where the difference is goes all the way back into the offseason. Because I am sure Derrick Henry had a choice between these two teams, which one he wanted to go to. And he has notoriously tortured Buffalo. Like Saquon Barkley's 300-yard game, if the Bills do half as good on Derrick Henry, who had 200 yards in the last one, I think that they would still lose this game when you take into account the rest of the team the Ravens have. I also think the Ravens have a unique defense with Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, some more athletic edge rushers, a group that could really chase Josh Allen around for the entire game. Ravens hold off a late Bills comeback attempt and win it 38-31 to advance. The only non-rematch of wildcard weekend would be the Commanders versus Detroit Lions, if I'm exactly correct about all these picks. And as I had the Washington defense overperforming in round one, I think they would in this game as well. But the Lions offense at full strength is a whole different animal than the Bucs. And when you add up Gibbs and Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, the floodgates are going to open. It's eventually just going to be too much for the Commanders defense to handle. And can Jaden Daniels now step up to the plate in the second round of the playoffs and go toe for toe with an offense that scored 50 points multiple times this season? I think I will take the Lions to win that shootout 45-34. We're going to have some high-scoring playoff games this year, which brings me to my Chargers on the road in Kansas City, where I shake the entire tournament up with my predictions. This Chiefs team has so many similarities to the 2020 Chiefs that failed to win the Super Bowl. Mahomes had to drag them to the Super Bowl in the first place. Their defense was good, but not quite elite. And the key was they had some injuries at the tackle positions that really made them struggle with protection in the playoffs and then in the Super Bowl, and they would eventually get blown out. But the problem for the Chiefs is that the AFC is a whole different animal today. Even with the bye week, they're going to have a gauntlet of their division rival Chargers and then Buffalo or Baltimore. All who have edge rushers who are going to be able to get after Mahomes against these tackles and have this season in the games that they've played against him. And now these Chargers, who are hungry as ever, are getting Mahomes on a 26-day break. You don't think a team taking a month off is going to lead to some rust early in this game? Also, take into account the Chargers have endless edge rushers. Tuli Tuipulotu, Bud Dupree, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa to throw at Mahomes. And we've already done it. He was tormented in the previous games. You're probably thinking, well, Mike, in the previous games, the Chargers still lost. What's the difference now? In those games, the Chargers offense was missing its top receiver or missing its top tackles or missing its top fill in the blank. If this Chargers team can get to this game somewhat fully healthy, our offense is now clicking on all cylinders. The Chargers have scored 34-plus points in each of the last 4 games. The last time the Chargers didn't score at least 34 points was against the Chiefs a month ago. Even against this KC defense, this Chargers offense will be putting up 24 to 30 points. So the question is, will the KC offense be able to wake up all of a sudden and go from scoring in the teens to putting up 30 points against the #1 defense in football this year? Call me biased. KC has failed to surpass 21 points in half of their games. This Chargers team is ready to take down the Chiefs in round 2. And I think the 3-peat ends and we get a horrible rematch in the AFC title game when the Chargers take down KC 27-20. And when the Chargers get their second shot at the Ravens in the AFC Championship, unfortunately, our only weakness kind of gets exposed. The Ravens were both able to get after our interior offensive line and get in Justin Herbert's face when we played them earlier in the year, and beat up on the Chargers' maybe only weakness on defense, and that's stopping the run straight up the middle, paired with play action where the quarterback can take off as well or extend plays. Basically, I'm just saying that Lamar Jackson is unstoppable, and the Chargers' #1 defense found that out earlier in the season, and when you sprinkle a little bit of Derrick Henry on top of it, you need an offense that's also going to go out there and be unstoppable. And I do think we put up a hell of a fight. I don't think Quentin Johnston dropped 6 passes this time. The Chargers fall just short in another Harbaugh to Harbaugh loss in the AFC title game, 31-27. Proving that these picks are also unbiased. I have the Chargers losing before the Super Bowl. And in the NFC title game, we have the 1 versus 2 seed. The Detroit Lions will be hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. This game will be pretty impossible to predict. It probably would depend on which team is healthier. And right now, the healthier team is without a doubt the Philadelphia Eagles. The Detroit Lions are absolutely ravished with injuries. Now, they could get healthier by this time, or they could get more beat up. And I think we get to this point, and the Detroit home crowd's hopes and dreams get crushed by Philly in a thriller. Philly leaves with the win, 24-21. And I'll give you my Super Bowl winner this year. First, after the video, make sure you go and send in your picks for a chance at these cash prizes. Just head to my page, you will see where you can enter. Or click the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. Leaving us with a Baltimore Raven versus Philadelphia Eagle Super Bowl. And man, wouldn't this be the most exciting matchup that we have possible on our slate right now? You got Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry leaving their teams and going to new teams, proving that you should probably pay running backs. You got Jalen Hurts' return to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's final triumphant road to the Super Bowl and shot at that Lombardi trophy. And I think this year, the 3-time MVP finally does it. We've seen Lamar play at peak Lamar Jackson in the past, at a point where we think that no one can stop him from going to the Super Bowl, and then the Ravens choke in the playoffs. But it just seems like there's a different level of focus with this team, and the element that Derrick Henry adds to be able to take over games when Lamar Jackson does struggle gives me ultimate confidence in the Ravens this year as my prediction to win the Super Bowl.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. With something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.